morning. I'm Gillian Wiseman, the reference librarian at the West Waco Library, and today we're going to do a January book tasting. Our topic is try something new, and I have some authors and books here on new authors, debut authors, diverse authors, nonfiction that's on interesting different topics, some different formats of material that you may not have tried before. So I'm just going to start grabbing books and telling you a little bit about each one. I'm going to start off with a format that most people have not tried, most grown-ups have not tried. This is a graphic novel. It's a comic book for those of us who grew up reading them. It is called The Way of the House Husband, and it tells the story of the trials and tribulations of Tatsu, who is a retired Yakuza turned house husband. Yakuza, for those of you who don't know, is Japanese organized crime, the mob. So he's an organized mobster turned house husband, and it's a comedy. It's very lighthearted, rather silly, quick to read, and fun. Volumes 2 through 4, as well as this one, Volume 1, are available in the library. And if you're just looking to try a new format, I would recommend something like this. It's great. Modern Flexitarian is a cookbook, a new way of eating. Flexitarianism is the idea, not necessarily true vegetarian or veganism, but someone who's interested in eating less meat and more healthily. This book will introduce you to the concept of being a flexitarian and give you lots and lots of recipes and meals, lots and lots of beautifully illustrated pictures of delicious food that will inspire you to try to eat in a slightly different way that may be slightly better for the world, as well as your waistline. Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kawai Strong Washburn is magical realism. It is set in Hawaii, and it involves the story of a family whose youngest son at age 7 was rescued at sea by a shark, and he thus developed magical powers to help people. And it follows his story, his siblings' story, his parents, over the course of the next 20 years as he attempts to live up to the gift that the sea has given him. And Hawaii becomes a real character in this novel. I liked reading it. I enjoyed that one a lot. The writing is superior. Nonfiction, handmade outdoor crafts. If you're looking for something to do at home, which we all have been, we've got a few more months of needing to find things, try a craft. This book is filled with things that you can make for your home, with your kids, without your kids. It has lots of illustrations of beautiful things that you can learn to make. The instructions are for the person who's a little bit knowledgeable about crafts. There are also patterns that you can blow up. I'm not finding one, but I assure you that there are patterns in there that you can photocopy and enlarge. There's one to help you create all the different things that you can find to do with wood and metal and outdoor scraps and leaves and all sorts of wonderful things. So, handmade outdoor crafts. How Much of These Hills is Gold by Pam Zhang is a story about two Asian children, Chinese children, in America in the Old West. Their father dies, and they are left to attempt to give him a proper burial and then survive on their own in a not too friendly place. Again, there's a certain amount of magical realism in this novel. The world is not always as it seems to be. There's a certain Chinese sensibility to how the world works that's really interesting. But they're fun, tough little kids, and it was an enjoyable story. It also has a lot of flashbacks to their parents' lives and how they came from China to America and why and what it meant to them, and how they ended up both parents dying and leaving their children alone. On Being and Becoming is a book of existential philosophy. It explores what existentialism is, which is an approach to life, thinking about how and why we are what we are, and whether or not we have free will, and other interesting questions. If you're looking for something deep, thoughtful, and exploratory to read, this might be an option for you to look into. It's from Oxford University Press, and it's quite scholarly but accessible to anybody who wants to put in the time. Then one of my favorite all-time authors is Sarah Dessen. She is a young adult author. Her books are realistic fiction, no magic, no magical realism, just straightforward story about a young woman who is attempting to figure out her role in life. She's torn between the family who raised her, her father's mother, and then the mother that she doesn't really remember, and her mother's family in the town that her mother grew up in, and the childhood friend that she barely remembers when she goes back to spend a summer there. Sarah Dessen is kind of famous for her realistic fiction, and if you want to try young adult for the first time, she's a really good author to try. And last but not least, a little bit about the future. Space 2069 is an exploration of what we know, where we're going in space, exploration. How are we going to get to Mars? How have we gotten to where we are now, and what can we expect over the next 50 years? Just a cool adventure story. Lots of science, which is always fun. And that's that for January. Try something new.